Well, they got new internet and it's faster, but it's still slow. Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Watch It Bro podcast. I'm Tristan,
And I am Marshall.
and Marshall is older than the amount of episodes we've had on the Watch It Bro podcast still.
Just gonna say, I've been older for the last 40 episodes.
Right.
But yes, still.
I'm not.
No, we passed you.
Yeah. Even though if you look at our covers, I look like the older brother.
I wonder who does the covers.
Totally by accident, right?
Yep.
Huh, that hair color I picked looks a little gray. Does it?
Well, it was lighter in the first cover and just kind of kept going with it.
Little more gray, little more gray.
Still looks like you.
It does still look like me at 50.
No. You've always had lighter hair. That's a little too light, maybe, but
my hair is not much lighter than yours.
he'll do one with you darker hair. See how that looks.
I would appreciate the attempt at least.
I have to do it slowly, otherwise people are gonna think you're dyeing your hair.
Put a disclaimer at the bottom. Tristan's actual hair color. I've been a jerk for 40 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely lighter than what your actual hair is.
Yeah, no, I see what it looks like every week.
You're like, oh, it's still. Although, just change it randomly. Oh, Tristan dyed his hair. He's trying to hide something. Oh, it's really from that first cover.
The Tommy Boy one?
Yeah.
You can see on the poster it's just getting lighter and lighter. Marshall having a midlife crisis?
I hope Tristan's up more gray. Maybe I do the dark as the streaks this time, and the gray is the main color.
Yeah.
I mean, with the lighting, mine looks lighter right now.
It does.
And yours looks black.
It does. My beard still hasn't come back in.
Yeah. Try and grow it out.
Yeah. I shaved it on accident.
Aw.
Yeah, I made a mistake. Oops.
Oh, just got a chunk out of it. You're like, oh, I gotta do this.
Yeah, pretty much. But we're not here to talk about my hair. We're here to talk about The Mummy Returns.
We are here to talk about The Mummy Returns. The
Which
sequel to the great Mummy movie we just watched.
We just covered that last episode.
That was a horrible transition.
It worked on Dice of Thunder. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Scott would always. But we don't talk about that here. This is the podcast we're really about. Great segue, Scott. But it made me laugh every time. So.
Awesome.
The Mummy Returns was also directed by Stephen Sommers, by the way.
Yes, it was.
And he wrote it.
Yes, as I believe one of the fun facts I said, Universal called him the day after The Mummy released in theaters, said you need to write a sequel. And fun fact, it was actually greenlit, and they started writing it that day.
Yep. And this movie is starring, well, people are back. We got Brendan Fraser coming back.
I was going to say, you got to tell him who's back.
Rachel Weisz, also back as Evie.
Yep.
John Hannah is back as Evie's brother. Stop blowing at the microphone!
Jonathan.
Arnold Vosloo is back as Emotep. Oded Fair is back as Mr. Magi. I forgot his name, and I didn't write it down.
Ardith Bay.
But he actually gets a starring credit in this movie. And since he's getting a starring credit, I will tell you some other things you might have seen him in. He had a recurring role in NCIS and The Blacklist. He did. He was Jafar for a couple episodes of Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
And he currently, and has always, voiced Osiris in Destiny 2, which is a video game franchise.
Interesting.
Also now getting a starring credit, Patricia Velasquez
Okay.
as Anaxunamun.
Yes.
Spoilers.
It comes up pretty quick.
She had a 5 episode part in Arrested Development, and then had a short stint on Rescue Me and Ugly Betty. And she was also a contestant on The Apprentice in 2012.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I actually did not know that. And Mom and I watched The Apprentice every season. Moving on.
Oh,
We
she
have,
was Marta on Arrested Development.
did I not mention that?
No, you said she was on Arrested Development. You didn't say who.
Oh, my bad. I have it
No,
written right here.
that's okay. No, you
You
might
could have
have
just
said it.
said,
It didn't.
you could have just said, who was she? And I'd be like, oh, Marta.
Oh, okay.
Then we have Freddie Both, who pretty much did this
Yeah.
and then was like, acting? Not for me.
It's like, that was fun. I'm done with this.
Either that or he just had a horrible time finding work after this.
Mm.
And then rounding out our starring credits, according to the Wikipedia, we have Dwayne Johnson, who I always thought looked almost identical to The Rock.
I'm gonna punch you.
I kid, of course. Marshall and I were big wrestling fans in the late 90s when The Rock was at the height of his wrestling career.
I'd say he was just starting out when when he hit big.
Right, but we watched it for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, we did.
Him and Mankind, the tag team duo.
The Rock and Sock connection.
Yes, that was one of my favorite things wrestling ever did.
Yeah,
But yeah, wrestling is actually having a resurgence right now.
it is.
And this time the ladies are the popular ones,
Yeah, yeah, they
which
are.
is cool.
It's good to see that they have a good women's division right now.
They really do.
But he was credited as The Rock in this movie
He
because
was.
he was still very much The Rock at that point, and not the actor Dwayne Johnson.
Right. This was one of his first movie roles, I believe. He
It was-
just getting started.
Yeah, it was his first non-wrestling like movie, TV appearance type thing. Because otherwise, he usually just played a wrestler or
Right.
something.
This movie was released May 4th, 2001, and we are recording this May 4th, 2025.
How do we keep doing this with weird dates and things?
I don't know.
I mean, because this was impromptu.
Yeah, this is a sequel to the movie I picked.
Yeah,
that
like, let's just do both.
Yeah, that Marshall kindly gave up his surprise selection for, which actually it worked out well because that made it another surprise, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But this movie had a budget of $98 million, and it raked in a whopping $435 million at the box office. And, fun fact, was the highest grossing movie of 2001.
Really?
Really?
Good job, 2001.
No, good job, The Mummy Returns.
Well, yeah, good job, The Mummy Returns. Are you fact checking?
No, I'm not fact checking. I forgot to mention last episode that The Mummy was released May 7th, 1999.
Okay.
But that rounds out our specs for The Mummy Returns. Marshall,
Yes. You ready?
shall we get into it?
Yes.
I agree. So we start off with the Universal logo again, because Marshall likes them logos.
We do. Universal's proud of this movie.
Yeah, and then it changes from the Universal logo to the Scorpion King logo.
It does. Nice little fade, and then you see the Scorpion King logo.
That's right. And we get some narration. We are in Thebes.
Yes, and it is Ardith Bay again giving the narration.
It is. Ardith Bay is really good at them narrations.
He's
But
full
we
of
are
information.
But we are in 3067 BC. And what?
Nothing, I just nodded.
Oh, okay. You look confused by it, though. Like, is that right? Yes, it's right. I wrote it down. Anyway, we're getting a big Lord of the Rings style face off with just like two walls of people colliding.
Yes. Yes, we are.
The Scorpion King is on a mission. And after 7 years, well, he loses.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of
And-
spent his people.
And him and his army get banished to the desert. And they all go for a walk until they all die.
Yeah.
Except the Scorpion King.
Yep. He's the most stubborn and apparently always getting food and water.
Yep. And he's pretty worse for wear at this point. And so he calls on Anubis
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Hey, Anubis guy, you spare my life and allow me to conquer and kill my enemies, you can have my soul." And Anubis is like, "Okay." And so Anubis also gives him control of his army.
Yes.
And then we see the Rock, true, but he's the Scorpion King in this, and he is back
To finish the job.
to where he was beaten, and he is conquering his enemies. And now, so when I saw this, I don't really remember this all of this movie because, like I'd said previously, I'd caught it on the cable,
Yeah.
and so we usually miss the beginning when you catch it on the cable.
Okay.
And so I thought he would conquer his enemies, he would take over the land, he would rule, live out his life, die, and then Anubis would take his soul. Nope. Anubis ain't waiting. Anubis is like, all right, and your last enemy is dead, and time to collect.
Yeah. He's like, okay, your goal's completed. You weren't thorough with your contract. You're mine.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, the last guy's not even cold,
No, no, he hit the
and
ground and
yeah, basically as soon as he hits the ground, Anubis takes his soul.
yeah.
He doesn't waste any time collecting what's his. And now we're in Egypt, 1933, which about 9 years, I'd say, after the end of the first movie.
Yeah, about 9 or 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see Rick exploring some ruins.
Yeah, we get the we get the kills, the Rick cool silhouette behind the wall of spider webs
Why is it always got to be spiders?
because they're creepy. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're
I
everywhere.
I was going for the Indiana Jones. Why is it always got to be snakes?
Ah, I did not get that.
No, clearly.
Probably because you
Yeah,
said
no.
spiders.
Probably. Yeah, well, there weren't snakes except for the
No.
one that comes up in a little bit.
Yes, which I have a fun fact about.
Yeah. So Rick's creeping through, getting a little tense. Speaking of spiders. And turns out a kid's sneaking up on him.
Yes.
Kid scares him. We realize it's his kid. Hey.
Yeah, this is where we figure out there's a time jump from the last movie. Like a big time jump between the last movie and this one.
The date didn't help you out.
I mean, it did, but you learn he has a kid. You're like, oh, geez, yeah, that's been a while.
True, fair. Okay, yeah. And then the kid mentions his that saw his dad's tattoo somewhere. So now we know that Rick has a tattoo, which
Yeah.
I don't think he had that in the first movie.
Well, he had the leather wristband that the kid pulls off and says the tattoo was under it. And he had that. He wore that the whole first movie. So
Fair enough. That works.
yeah. And Rick's like, yeah, yeah, that's cool, kid. Go.
Yeah, he sends him off. But like, why is the kid there in the first place?
Because they didn't want to leave him with Jonathan.
So instead, they're gonna bring him on a dangerous expedition.
Expedition.
No, it's either excavation or expedition.
It's both.
Okay. And so they have him standing by himself at the entrance of the tomb,
Yes. He's their lookout.
apparently. But then we cut to Evie, and well, she's looking at some hieroglyphs, trying to figure out where to go. This
Yes.
is where we get the snake.
Yep. This is where we get the snake. Little
Or
coral
she?
snake.
No, it's highly poisonous.
This is my fun fact and a common trick in the movie and TV industry. There are two types of snakes that look fairly similar. One's the mimic to make people think it's the poisonous one, but
Right.
the rings vary on the snakes. So if red touches yellow, you're going to be dead because it's the poisonous one, and if red touches black, you're okay.
Yeah. Yes. No, we learned that in elementary school, or we did.
Yeah, I did.
But you get the a very common thing that all movies do is anytime there's a snake and they want to depict danger, they throw the sound of a rattlesnake on top of it
Yeah.
with a hiss and a rattle.
Yep. It's like, oh
So,
no, it's a mean snake.
yep, it sounds like a rattler. So anyway, she kicks it right at Rick, and Rick dodges it and
Yeah.
says, "Hey, you know those are poisonous?" And she fires back with, "Yeah, only if they bite you."
True.
Fair. That's a good point. And then
I
she
mean,
finds a secret passageway.
yes, yes. She's on a mission.
Yeah. You were gonna say something before I continue with the movie?
If I was, it's gone.
Yeah, I've been there. That's what happens when you get over 40.
Mm.
But then we see cut to some mystery men approaching. And this movie does a lot of that,
Yeah.
jumping around.
Yeah,
In-
there's a lot going on. It's a little more all over.
Yeah. Lots of back and forth made it hard for note taking.
And the group, I
You,
mean, the
you
group,
you wouldn't know.
yeah. And the group isn't always in one place together.
No, no.
Like
Which
with the first one, it was
right.
everybody was kind of together the whole time.
Yeah, this episode they split the party.
Yes.
But then we cut to the kid and we see him being the lookout, and then he's goes and hides up on a little
Yeah,
like
yeah. When Rick tells him to go away, he's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, build a better mousetrap or something.
yeah.
And the kid's like, okay. So you see him putting this piece of cheese on this little thing he built.
And then he hears the bad guys coming, and so he climbs up on like a rafter thing.
Scaffolding.
Yeah, scaffolding was in my head, and then I changed it. And I don't know why.
Hmm.
Scaffolding. He climbs up there and kind of hides.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to Evie, and she's having a vision.
Yeah. Yeah. The torch goes
Yeah,
by
she
and
yeah. And then all of a sudden she's in ancient Egypt, and she is watching Anaxinamun, isn't it?
yeah.
Go and open the door. So it's like a combo lock, like your locker at school.
Yeah. Yeah. Except there's no numbers on it. It's just kind of a know the pattern or you're stuck.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a little beetle on it that faces up, so you have the start position, and if you know the twists and turns, you're good to go.
Yep. And so, um, well, she sees that, and then she comes back to present day and tells Rick about her vision, and Rick's a bit skeptical.
Yeah, and she
And then
she's
she
trying to
walks. What?
she's trying to get back to what she sees too and starts whipping the torch around.
Yeah, doesn't work.
No,
But yeah, but Rick's not really believing her, and then so she walks up and like opens the door, and he's like, "Oh, okay, now you're starting to scare me." Which they
because
dropped the hint in the last movie that she descends from Egyptians.
yes, well, I mean, not really a hint. She said her mother was Egyptian.
Yeah, yeah, and they dropped that little nugget of continuity in the first film. But the kid's a crack shot with a slingshot.
He is a real Bart Simpson or Dennis the Menace.
Two very good references. I approve of both of those.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was aces.
You thinking slingshots, you go with those two.
Pretty much, yeah. I
And
don't
now
know who
Alex
you would,
O'Connell.
I don't know who you'd go to nowadays, like kids nowadays, there's no slingshots. Those are dangerous.
Yeah. You don't want to pick somebody whipping marbles at somebody else.
No, but he cracks this guy right in the side of the neck.
He does.
And
He hits them pretty good.
yeah, he does. And their immediate reaction is this place is cursed, which
Yeah,
go
yeah. The
with
one
it.
guy's like, "What's something hit me?" And the other like, "This place is cursed and it's awful. We shouldn't be here."
Yeah,
I think you're in the wrong line of business, dude.
no kidding. This is scary. I want to go home. Should have stayed there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a paid hired hand, so maybe he doesn't usually go into ancient
Yeah,
Egyptian ruins.
this might be a little outside his area expertise.
Yeah, because he seems
Like,
cool with the other part,
yeah, so they just
like
took the
killing the
job.
kid.
Right. Yeah. No, not couple of movies we've done where people have no qualms with killing kids. They just want to get more money when they do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Evie and Rick they enter it's like a tomb, a burial tomb. Doesn't look like for anybody important though, because there's just kind of bodies stacked along the wall.
Yeah, it's more. I think it's like a treasure room, and those guys are the mummified like guards.
Yeah. But it's this scene cracked me up because Evie's daintily hopping over spiders and scorpions. And then you see Rick just walking straight through, and you hear squish, 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 squish.
Yep,
They
just
definitely upped the comedy in this movie.
they did. They did. I think we mentioned this in the last one that it um, went a little bit lighter on this one tone wise.
Right. Yeah, I think. Well, because you said the first one did so well,
Yeah.
that like the first day, and I think because I mean we saw it as kid, we saw the first one as kids,
Yeah.
and so I think getting the report back of the the information back on who went to see this film, they were probably like families went to see this. Let's tone it down and ramp up the comedy and make it more of a family movie.
Yeah. I mean, that studios do that a lot of times. But with the Ninja Turtles 2 definitely wasn't as dark as the first one and had more comedy and
Right.
even had the slapstick noises, the zeep when things happened, and
I haven't seen those movies in a long time. Anyway,
anyway, we're still in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
yes, we are. But yeah, they find a bunch of stuff. They find another secret door,
Yeah,
and they
yeah. They
and
find
then
a secret door. They find a secret chest.
they find some artifacts, and then we cut back to the kid who shoots the guy again with the slingshot,
Yeah, he
and then he
presses his luck.
laughs. Well, he's got it the second time. I mean,
Yes,
you only get so many, but then he laughs, and the guy distinctly hears the kid laugh. And at that point, when you've made a noise, you you stop.
yes. His he has given himself away.
He has
The
definitely raised suspicion.
Yes, the one guy is very suspicious. The other guy just is still freaked out because he's
Yeah,
not the sharpest tool in the shed.
right. So the kid at this point, the kid still has a chance if he just lays still and doesn't move and doesn't make a sound.
Correct. Yeah, I think they would just ignore him at this point if he didn't.
Yeah, then do what he does in a little bit.
Right, right. But what the dude that says this place is cursed is on high alert at this point.
Yeah, yeah. The guy definitely thinks something suspicious is going on. But we cut back to Evie and Rick, and they find the bracelet of Anubis.
Yeah, yeah. They're looking for a key or something. Rick's like, hey, what about this? This looks like that thing.
Yeah, and instead of breaking it open, he finds it and he goes, "Here, let's try it your way." And so she's like, "Oh,"
Yeah,
and then
yeah. She was getting ready to use force on the chest.
right, and then she doesn't quite open it up. She reads the hieroglyphics on the front, the hieroglyphs on the front,
Yeah,
and it says, "What? Whoever opens this chest will drink from the Nile."
yeah. And she's
And
like, oh,
Rick's
that
like,
doesn't sound too
"Doesn't
bad.
sound too bad." But then we cut back to the kid, and he gets overzealous and shoots his slingshot at the guy again. And
Yeah,
high alert guy catches the rock or marble, and you're like, "Whoa!"
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I saw it coming.
Yep, he was ready for it.
Yeah, I was like, the kid got to. He laughed. He knew he laughed,
Yeah,
and was like, "Uh oh, don't press your luck after that." See, kids are dumb.
yeah, for the most part.
And so, the guy's name is the guy. The suspicious is his name's Lochna.
No,
No,
Lochna's not there. That's Jacques. Jacques and Sivey.
are you sure?
Yeah, Lochna's at the pit with um, the museum guy and Anoxinamun.
I cut that out.
Yeah,
But
you should.
so the guy that was hypervigilant, or yeah, that catches it, goes up and starts hunting down the kid.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, okay, this is, and I guess he was shooting little balls of dirt because he just crushes this thing in his hand.
It's a marble. It's supposed to be that strong.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it is a dirt clod. Maybe clay balls.
Oh yeah, clay balls.
Anyway, the tomb starts flooding, and Rachel and Evie. Rachel is the character, or the actress. Evie is her character. Rick and Evie start hauling,
Yeah, yeah. Water's coming.
and um, there was one of the bad guys, the lead bad guy, I guess, went on ahead to go track down Evie and Rick.
Yeah, he says he's gonna go finish the O'Connells off.
Right,
Uh,
sort them out.
yeah,
But once the water starts coming, he starts hauling out of there too, and he tells his henchmen, "It's flooding, get out."
yeah,
And so the kid gets spared, kind of. Um, the
yeah.
dude kicks one of the legs out, and much like Evie in the first movie in the library, Alex falls over and knocks over every pillar in the tomb.
Yeah, yeah. It's the almost the exact same shot with the pillars and the stunt double falling off and kid popping up when it's done.
Yeah, it was a nice little reference. But we see that Evie and Rick are trapped underneath like a grate or something,
Yeah. Yep.
and
They're stuck.
the last pillar's starting to fall, and Alex, the kid, is like, "Oh, let me go hold up this pillar," and it's like, "What?"
Well, he's trying to prevent it from hitting the mark on the wall that's his dad's tattoo
Uh,
because he needs his dad to see it.
Sure. And I was like, get your cell phone out and take a picture, kid. Nope.
Nope, nope. And like you said, kids are dumb, and he's like, I can do this, and he couldn't do it.
No, and then it falls. And luckily it does because it relieves the water and Rick and Evie come out and it basically saves their life.
Yes,
And so, yeah,
and
they're
and
all,
Alex is like, I can explain.
which he can't. Well, he could, probably, but not well.
I mean, there were some bad guys here. Something happened, and the thing fell over, and
So we cut to the city of the dead.
I mean, it's not Alex's fault. Yes.
Not
Hymenoptera.
entirely. Yeah. And there's a big old dig site there now.
There is. They are excavating this thing like
Nobody's business.
I was gonna say like Nazis in Indiana Jones, but at the dig site. And anyway,
I'm leaving that in.
that's fair. That's we're digging for the pit to try and get the location of the Ark of the Covenant.
That's right. That's what they were looking for. Holy Grail was Monty Python.
No, it was the third Indiana Jones, the Last Crusade. They're looking for the Holy Grail.
Sure, sure.
I mean, there's Mighty Python Holy Grail movie too, but
Sure, sure, yeah. So we're at the city of the dead.
yes, there's no Nazis digging.
No. But yeah, they're looking for stuff and the bad guys show up, so we find that the bad guys that were at the tomb are also in cahoots with this guy.
Yeah, they're working for Mr. Hafez.
You wrote that name down.
He's the guy with the little mustache, Mr. Hafez, and Anoxinamoon is there, or
Yes.
the actress that plays Anoxinamoon. I mean, it's her,
Kind of
kind of.
right now. But
Yes, kind of right now. It
But
gets
yeah,
more
as-
her later.
it does get more her later. But you see something starting to happen in the sand.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like,
And-
oh, what's coming up? This is going to be cool. I don't remember this at all. And then it's beetles.
Yes, the Beatles are back.
Gotta love those beetles.
And I'm sorry if you're digging in the sand and something starts coming out of the sand, don't stare at it. Get away.
Yeah. I'd be that guy everyone's watching where I'd kind of like look around and see everyone stand there. And I'd be like working my way back. But it's time for my break.
Oh, something's
Boss,
happening. Break time.
boss, I'm taking my 15 right now.
Yeah.
Just want to see what happens? Not really, no. Not interested.
This doesn't bode well for me. We're all wearing red here.
Yep. I call them red cloaks. And yeah, they lose a bunch of
Workers,
workers.
meat shields,
I did- uh,
in their mind, expendable people because
yeah,
they got them doing the work.
henchmen.
Yeah, henchmen. But and they're kind of prepared for this. The guys show up with flamethrowers and start pushing the scarabs back.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But you get the. I always remember this shot because the CG was
It wasn't great.
on it with the guy. He crawls out of the pit. He rips his shirt off, and you can see like 10 of them crawling up him on the
Yeah.
inside of his skin, and then they just explode out of his mouth in this gurgling noise. La, 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 la.
Yeah, I think the CGI for the Beatles was better in the first one.
Yeah,
They probably did the one and they're like, this is really expensive. We can't do this the whole movie. Okay. Well, we have that one guy. Anyway, they find Emotep.
they do.
Because
They-
apparently
they-
that's who they're looking for.
Yeah. The Beatles show up, and the Noxamoon's like, "Oh, we're close," and then we found him. He's this way.
Yep. And then we get all the main bad guys having a little conference about artifacts. And they mentioned that they did not get the Bracelet of Anubis.
Yeah, something came up, and they weren't able to acquire it.
But they do know that it's on its way to London.
Yes.
Spoilers, they're headed to London now.
Not the three guys. They get tasked with a new mission.
They do. What is their new mission?
Mr. Hafez is like, no, we'll take care of London. You go get this chest we need you to get. They don't say it, but
Right.
they send her to go get a chest. And we also see that Ardith Bay is there.
He is lurking in the shadows.
Yes, all cloaked up and being inconspicuous.
Yes, he is
I mean,
definitely not.
there's not many magi left, so he's doing what he can to.
Not
and
real
to be-
good at his job, that one.
I mean, to be fair, they showed up with like 1,000 guys and excavation equipment.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I can cut him a break there.
Yeah, a little group of like 20 guys when you have your whole Magi army before, but a lot of them got wiped out and
Yeah, yeah, they did.
don't know how many are exactly left.
Not a lot.
Yeah,
So we cut to London,
merry old
and
London.
we cut to Evie and Rick, and they're talking, and Evie wants to go on a trip, and she starts using her wiles,
Yeah, he's like, we just got back.
and she's like, "That's great, we're already packed." Great point.
That's a good point.
And then Rick starts piecing it together of why she wants to go where she wants to go. And then he starts essentially guessing the story of Anubis because she's, yeah, how did, he's like, oh,
Kind of how it always goes.
yeah. Oh, yeah, he's gonna, if we don't stop him, he's gonna rise up and kill and destroy the world or destroy humanity. How did you know that? I guessed. It's always how the story goes.
Yeah.
And so he's just piecing this story together, and she's, yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny exchange. And then we see some cars approach.
Yes. Yes. And then we see Alex too putting the chest away.
Kind of. He's messing with it.
Okay. We see Alex messing with the chest.
And yeah, Rick and Evie are not paying attention to him whatsoever.
No, you can see them
Because
up on the balcony of the library talking, and he's down below
and he
opening the
puts a
chest.
bracelet on.
He's like, "Oh, this is cool." Yeah, slaps it onto himself. It's a really weird design for the bracelet too. Not the bracelet itself, but it's a scorpion with Anubis's head.
Well, because the Scorpion King and
I
Anubis
I know, but yeah,
makes sense to me.
it does make sense. It just looks a little odd.
Oh yeah, no, it looks strange.
Little jackal
Yeah,
head on a scorpion.
yeah, no, it's cool though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the bracelet projects a vision. It's a bracer.
Yeah, yeah.
It projects a vision.
It does. It shows him the
The
Great
route. It's like
Pyramids and then the
GPS
straight
to
to
get to
Karnak.
the tomb of the Scorpion King.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a hidden map.
And his parents are none the wiser of the giant map being projected.
Nope. Nope. They even show Rick and Evie up on the balcony, like from their perspective, and they just you can see Alex behind him just kind of waving his arm around. Like he's seeing it, but they wouldn't be able to see anything. They'd just be looking down and see what's that kid doing?
Yeah,
Is he trying to fist bump a ghost?
he might be. But then we are reintroduced to Jonathan.
We are.
And
Because
he's on a date.
Rick notices some clothes that aren't Evie's hanging on the bookshelf.
There's some leggings, right? And yeah, Jonathan's on a date. And then he gets interrupted by Lochna, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lochna, Mr. Hafez, and the other red cloaks.
Yes, but they seem to think that Jonathan is Rick.
Well, they're in Rick's house and there's a dude here, so it must be him, right?
Gotta be. Yep, and he's not really good at saving himself, is he?
Not when he doesn't know the situation he's going into.
Right. We never figure out what happens to his lady friend.
No, I'm guessing she just kind of disappears and leaves.
And they just let her go.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna say that.
It's time. They're just like, "Oh, it's time to go home," and she goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, yeah. You should go. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I like that too.
I mean, unless they think she's Evie, then the dispatch of her.
Yeah, they might have.
She- as far as the movie goes, they grab Jonathan, shove her out the door, and we never see her again.
Right.
I
Does
Let-
someone go out with her, or do they just push her out the door?
don't know.
'Cause I thought, didn't a couple red cloaks take her?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But Jonathan's got this. He's holding this scepter too. He's playing up the fact that he's rich and got a big house and he's got money and gold and he's got this golden scepter.
Yes. And now he's in a bit of hot water.
Yes, he is.
And we see a Moon. I don't know her not a Moon character name.
I don't think we ever learn it. She's just a Moon and reincarnate.
Yeah, pretty much that's what we're going to go with. Because she talks. I watched it because the closed captions were on.
Yeah,
And I didn't turn them off. And sometimes they have who's talking.
yeah,
And it said a Moon. And I'm like, well,
yeah. That's just her.
there we go. The closed caption ain't even gonna. Yep. But yeah, so they separate the party here. Rick walks in on the Jonathan situation,
Yeah, yeah. He
and then we get Evie. She gets cornered by some other bad guys,
yes,
and we got a little bit of back and forth going. But we cut back to Rick and Jonathan and Anaxuna Moon, and apparently she's threatening Jonathan with a snake.
yeah. She's got a Egyptian asp.
That sounds an awful lot like a rattlesnake.
That's you. We already covered that. They throw the rattle sound on top of snakes when you want them to seem dangerous.
The hissing and the rattling, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to reiterate that that was another thing that happened.
Ah.
And she throws the snake at Rick, and Rick catches it and throws it back.
Yeah. At at a red cloak who screams and takes it to the face. He does not
Truth?
have Rick's reflexes.
No, no. Well, he's just. I was gonna say he's essentially an innocent bystander, but not quite innocent, but a bystander.
Yes, yes. He's not innocent, but he's a bystander.
He's definitely not actively in the fight at the moment.
True.
So he does not expect an Egyptian asp to come hurtling at his face.
Which he really should have. Considering the guy they just threw it at has it now.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's like, what's he gonna do with the snake? I don't know. Oh, it's coming at me.
What do I do? Too late.
Yeah.
Which, if you're wearing a red cloak, you gotta be, if we think back to Guy in Galaxy Quest. So I know what I am.
Yeah.
But then we
They-
get a big fight that breaks out.
Yeah, they open fire. Rick grabs Jonathan and shoves him in the bathroom.
Yep.
And they're just shooting through the door.
Yeah, and we get a pretty big fight scene, like all over. Rick and Jonathan are hiding out in the bathroom as the door's getting shot up.
Yep.
Evie apparently knows how to sword fight.
Yeah, she grabs a sword and pushes Alex to the side.
Yeah, and Alex is like, "Wow, Mom, how do you know how to do that?" And she's like, "I don't know, I just do."
Yep. She just picks up the sword and it comes to her.
Which saves the writers from a whole lot of explanation.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah,
It
so
was
we get
it was written quickly.
yeah. I mean, it came out almost exactly 2 years after the first movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get a huge fight scene. We do get a funny scene in the bathroom with Rick and Jonathan where Rick loses Jonathan.
Yeah, he's like, where'd you go?
How? Where did you go and how? And then all of a sudden you see him pop out from the apparently full bathtub.
Yeah, yeah. Fun fact, that was his idea. The
Yep.
actor's idea to have all the bubbles in there, like he was getting ready for the bath with his lady friend.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But he slipped and hurt his knee on getting out.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I guess our heroes win the fight,
I mean,
kind of.
Rick and O'Connell take the break in the shooting to run and jump out the window.
Right.
Um.
That's right, because Evie gets kidnapped.
Yeah. Well, so during the Eevee's fight, Ardith Bay shows up.
Right. Ardith Bay shows up.
He's like, "Hey, I'm here," and
Huzzah.
there's so the interaction between Ardith Bay and Evie. It seems like they're corresponding over the last 10 years. Like
They might
they're
have been.
they're just very friendly. She's like, "Oh, Ardith Bay," like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah. Never mind that it's been 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's like, "Hey, they found the creature." It's like, "Oh no."
Yeah. But anyway, Evie gets kidnapped.
Yeah, and this is where we
Jonathan.
meet Lochnaw too, the other warrior who's working for Anoxida Moon.
Right. But Jonathan and Rick jump out the window, and they see the car drive away because the bad guys have gotten who they came there for, I guess, because they also got the box.
Yeah, they wrestled the box away from from Alex, who was putting up a good fight trying to keep it from them. Even
Yeah.
though he's got the bracelet on his wrist and he threw a baseball statue or trophy or something into the box to
Right.
make it seem like there was a weight in there.
Which, that's clever.
It is. And
Yeah.
he making a big show of not wanting to give up the box. Like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got it. But, so, yeah, Rick sees Evie being kidnapped, and they all regroup, and apparently the kid knows who the main bad guy is, mustachio guy.
Yes. Yes, he's the
He's the curator of the library. And Rick's like, well,
the British Museum.
Sure. But
Two
I,
different
wrote-
things.
but I wrote library for some reason.
You don't get to check stuff out of the British Museum. I need to borrow this artifact, please.
It's for a school project.
Yeah, yeah.
For show
But
and
yeah,
tell.
Rick's also not very happy to see Ardith Bay.
No.
And by their interaction, like they don't talk.
No, they don't. And Rick's probably not happy that him and his wife are talking.
She's very polite. But yeah, he mentions that they found the creature and they're trying to resurrect him. That they know things that they couldn't possibly know, like where the city was, where everything was, and the books, and they just have way too much information.
Yes, they do.
Um,
And they find out that the kid is wearing the bracelet.
right, because they reiterate the bracelet plan that you can um, use the bracelet to summon the newbie, summon the Scorpion King. And if you defeat him, you can control the army. And they're thinking that they're trying to get Imhotep because he's really the only guy tough enough to take on the Scorpion King.
Right. Which they somehow think Imhotep is going to work for them.
I don't think they're thinking that Imhotep's going to work with him. I think the plan is, I mean, they've got the Nox in the Moon who's like going to either manipulate him or just like, okay, let's do this. We rule the world now.
Not a great plan.
There could be better plans, but
But we find out that now that the kid's wearing the bracelet, he's got 7 days until the Scorpion King awakens.
yeah, Art of the Space. Like, do you realize what you've done? You've started a chain of events that could bring about the next apocalypse
Apocalypse now
in 7 days.
in 7 days. Yeah, I guess it didn't work. Anyway, so they take off and we cut to them, and Rick and Ardith Bay are having a chat and they're getting armed.
Yeah, he tells Alex to protect the car, and then he tells Jonathan to protect Alex.
And we find out that Rick is a magi.
Yes.
You know, if you wrote notes, you wouldn't have to try to remember so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, Ardith Bay sees the tattoo while they're getting armed up because Rick's got an arsenal in the back of his car.
He had the arsenal in the first movie too. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's the trunk pops open, it rolls out.
Yeah, no, it's a great setup.
Yeah.
But then Ardith Bay, he says half of some kind of magi secret code,
Yeah.
and then Rick says the other half, and Ardith Bay's like, "Oh, you're a magi," and Rick's like, "Oh, I'm not."
Yeah. He's like, no, that tattoo got slapped onto me when I was a kid. That's means nothing.
Then we cut to Evie, and it looks like she's being prepped for sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah. She's all tied up. They chloroformed her in the back of the car. We saw that briefly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got her laid out next to the I don't know, he's kind of in this I get because when he died in the not died, but yeah, died. In the last one he kind of went into the black goo water.
Yeah.
It looks like they kind of solidified around him into like a crystalline cocoon type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got it, and she's realizing that, oh shoot, they've got Imhotep.
Yep. And we're back at this back on this ride again.
Yeah. Well, and she sees she sees Mr. Hafez, the museum curator, reading out of the Book of the Dead.
Yeah, I know. She's like, "Oh, this is too familiar."
She's like, wait a minute, Mr. Hafez, what's going on?
Yeah. And then we get Rick and Ardith Bay in the museum. Apparently all this is happening in the back.
Yeah, they've got the big loading dock area where they have all the artifacts keep coming into the museum. They've got all the big boxes, like you would see the Ark of the Covenant getting put into at the end of Indiana Jones.
Right. And then all the mummies start raising from the dead.
yeah. This isn't just a wake up Imhotep spell. It's a wake up all the mummies.
What is it? Revive undead?
Yeah, something
Raise
like that.
undead? Animate undead?
Raise dead. No. Animate dead? Raise dead? I don't know. Because
Anyway.
the mummies don't seem to have their faculties with them, but Imhotep does.
Right. Because Imhotep rises.
Yeah. And the other mummies start waking up as Rick and Ardith Bay are walking by.
Yeah. But we get Moon talking to Imhotep and introduces herself as Moon, and he's like, "Well, you're not quite. Her soul is still in the lake of fire or whatever."
Yeah, you look like her, but you're not my girlfriend. We'll fix that though.
Yeah. Which you silver tongued devil.
She's like, okay, sure, I guess. What's happening?
Yeah, okay, good.
Like, I don't know. You woke up a mummy and now he's in charge
Yeah,
because who's gonna stop him?
pretty much, yeah. But it's pretty much the same trope love story from the first movie.
I wouldn't call it a trope. It's the continuation of the love story that he wants to finish because he got interrupted last time.
He did.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, it's her because he sees Evie.
Right. And it's
And
yeah, it's all a little too familiar.
yeah, Noxon was like, look, I got your sacrifice all ready to go. So I guess she's ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he was well, and then just the memories from the first movie cuz she's like I had to make you happy to watch her die and he's like it would.
That would make me happy.
Yeah, they were mean to me 10 years ago.
They were.
All I wanted to do was be reunited with my love and then they sent me into a pit of tar.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a version of this movie where you tell it more as a love story, and Emotep's not a bad guy.
It's really they're really walking a fine line with this guy being a bad guy.
Yeah, but yeah, he's kind of a jerk though now.
Okay. I wouldn't call him he might be an anti-hero.
Yeah, I don't.
We won't get into that right now.
Yeah,
Let's get through the movie first. So they open the chest and the bracelet's not there. So now they have to go tell Emotep that hey, we don't have the bracelet, but I think we know where it is.
right. They tell Emotep too it's the year of the Scorpion, so everything's lining up for the Scorpion King thing.
Right,
And
right.
he's like, "Oh, really? It's that's great. We can do the thing. Where's the bracelet?" Like, well, it's not here.
And then we cut to the kid,
Yeah,
and he's telling the story.
yeah. He's telling Jonathan what's going on
Yeah,
because
he's
you get Jonathan caught up.
yeah, yeah, because Jonathan stayed in the car with the kid.
Yeah, they told him to stay in the car.
First, he asked.
He did ask, and then they said, "Yeah, it's a good idea. You stay here."
Yeah, and then yeah, things aren't looking good for Evie because she's about to get thrown into a fire. And
Yeah, they're getting rid of the sacrificer.
yep, yep. Which I'm not sure they're actually doing a ritual sacrifice. I think they're just gonna kill her.
Yeah, I think at this point, because the book's not out, they're not chanting, they're not doing
No,
anything. They're just
they're
like,
not.
put her in the.
Throw her in the fire. This will make Emotep happy.
Yeah, Emotep says something, and Noxon Moon's like, burn her. And they're like,
And
yay,
then Rick jumps
sacrifice.
through the fire.
He jumps over it, but yeah.
Through. Through his cooler. In the nick
Yeah.
of time.
Yep. He made his move.
Yep.
And Imhotep's like, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good old reunion.
At least his nap this time wasn't as long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a reunion. Imhotep's not happy, and he grabs a big jar thing and summons warriors.
Oh yeah. We get those guys again.
Yep, the worst mummies.
Right,
Not
right,
the
right.
not the worst mummies, but the warrior mummies that were summoned
Some
by
of his
Jonathan. And,
some of his army.
yes, it's a better way to say it. But yeah,
Yep.
fight breaks out.
Gunfight. Awesome. And then apparently Jonathan catches wind that stuff's going down.
Well, they hear the gunfire,
And so
and
him
they're
the
out of
kid
the
are like,
car.
yeah, like, let's get out of here. Because he breaks the key off in the ignition.
Yeah, well, they were sitting outside the car. They heard the gunfire. They went in and tried to get the car started so they could take off when the others come out. But he breaks the key off of the ignition.
Yeah. And so then they run.
Yeah, it's like, what'd you do?
And
What'd you
then
do, Ray? Sorry.
and then the heroes start running. Yeah, now that Emotep's army is there, Rick and Evie are like, let's go.
It's time to get out of here. We got Evie, we've got our little team. Let's go.
Yep. And then they get out.
We need to regroup. There's too many of them.
Yeah, they get out of there and they got a double-decker bus.
Yeah.
Rick is not thrilled at the idea of the double-decker bus.
No, he's like, what about my car? And Jonathan's like, I needed to find other transportation.
Yeah. And then, yeah, his car gets crushed.
Yeah, the mummy. He's like,
by
no,
the
no,
mummies.
no, not the car.
It was all set up for his gunning.
It was. He's got to get it fixed now.
But they're being chased by an undead army.
Yes, we get a really cool
CGI chase scene.
car chase or bus chase.
Yeah, mummy chase.
Mummy chase? I don't know. It's got four of these warrior mummies who are like monkeys as
Yeah.
they're climbing up the side of buildings, swinging around.
Yeah, they're very nimbly bimbly.
Yeah,
And they catch up to the bus.
they do.
And so then they're fighting on the bus while Jonathan's driving. And then at some point, the heroes overtake the undead mummy army slowly, one by one. And then the bus becomes a convertible.
Yeah, yeah. Jonathan's not paying attention to the. I don't. He doesn't know the height of this thing. He takes off the top layer almost.
Almost, yeah. Rick ducks, and that gets rid of the
The last upper
um,
mummy.
last mummy, yeah. And then our heroes get away. There's a nice sign on the bus that says "Do not spit,"
Yeah,
and then the kid gets grabbed
yeah,
by
yeah.
Lochna.
They're all like, "Whew, we got away," because um, all the mummies are dead, and yeah, Lochna pops up, grabs the kid, and throws him in a
And
car, and they drive off.
yep, and Rick chases the car down, but does not catch up because it's a car.
Yeah, and he's on foot.
Yeah, doesn't work out so well. Then we cut to Anaxinamoon and Emotep, and they are talking about the scepter of Anubis.
No, what was the scepter's name? There was the scepter that Jonathan had when they
Yes.
were when they were when they grabbed Jonathan at the house. He took the scepter. He's like, "It's the scepter. How do you have this?" So they have it now.
Yes, they do.
Looking up the name.
Yes. Spear of Osiris, also known as the Scepter of Osiris.
Osiris.
But yeah, then we get a vision of the past of Anaxinamoon and Emotep. They play kissy face.
Yeah,
They
yeah, they do.
smooch.
And in the vision, Imhotep is whole. Outside of the vision, he's still mummy.
Yeah, it's kind of icky.
Yeah, but she only sees whole Imhotep, so it's
Well, yeah,
still it's, it's,
that's
it's
because
still
icky
icky.
Emotep is CGI.
Yeah. Fun fun fact.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, because we'll see it later, but Emotep, he's very smooth.
Okay.
They had to shave him twice a day to keep him as smooth as he is in this movie.
Twice a day.
They tried waxing, but it was too. He's like, no, that hurts too much. Just shave me.
Waxing. That guy is red.
I don't know how fun of a fact that is, but
We're having fun with it.
yeah. Yeah, it's a good time to bring it up because we see smooth Imhotep.
Yeah. So we cut to Rick and Evie getting briefed on Emotep's plan, or the plan of Emotep to kill the Scorpion King and rule the army of and control the army of Anubis,
Right, and then rule the world.
and then rule the world with Anaxinamoon.
Yep, not a bad
I mean,
plan.
I mean, it's a plan.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to have one.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the train with Anaxinamoon and Lochna. And Anaxinamoon and Alex have a very sweet moment. I'm, of course, being sarcastic because Anaxinamoon is telling Alex that he's going to behave and what's going to happen. And he's like, "Lady, I don't behave for my parents. What makes you think I'm going to listen to you?" And she goes, "Well, because your parents aren't going to put poisonous snakes in your bed while you are sleeping." And
Yeah.
then she kisses him on the cheek and walks away.
He's like, well, maybe I'll behave.
You can see he's reconsidering some things.
Yes. Yes.
Then we find out. Nope, not yet. We get the bad guys from earlier that come in with the chest and they want to negotiate for more money.
Yes. Yes. This is where we find out exactly what those other guys got sent off to do. And they show up with the chest
They
that
do.
the Americans found in the first movie.
Yes. Yes. And they want more money for opening it, to open it.
They want more money to retrieve it because it took a while, and that they heard that the four Americans that opened it before ended up dead.
Yeah.
So they think they should get some better compensation. They
And
want 10.
yeah, they basically double their asking price. And Lochna is like, "Ha, no, And Noxinamun's like, absolutely, come with me.
Yeah, she's like, no,
You
no, no,
guys,
we're gonna play nice.
you guys are right. You deserve it. We appreciate it. Doubling it's not a big deal at all. We're about to rule the world. Like we're gonna. That doesn't matter. We can give them an extra what 5, sure.
Yeah,
And so she's like, just immediately, yeah, follow me. I'll get you paid.
yeah,
And they're like, aces.
yeah. And then we get
And
a brief conversation with Alex and Imhotep.
yeah, because Emotep wanted to meet with the boy.
Yeah.
And so they're chatting, and well, this is when we find out that Alex also has to be in the temple before sunrise on that 7th day. Otherwise, the bracelet will suck his life out of him.
Yeah, yeah. His Imhotep's like, do you know what happened with the bracelet? He's like, yeah, I know it's gonna happen. If this doesn't happen, things are gonna happen. They're like, well, do you also know it's gonna kill you if you don't make it into the temple? Like, huh? I did not know that part.
Yeah, he's like, oh, nope, missed that one.
And we get told that kind of a time frame at this point that he's got 5 days at this point. So it's been 2 days of travel to get from London to Egypt.
Yeah, which I do like that they are kind of paying attention to the time frame of this stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't feel disjointed in that respect.
No, I don't know how accurate travel from London to Egypt is in a few days in 1936,
3,
33.
33. Anyway, we cut to Anaxinamun, where she's leading the men into a different room on the train to get them paid. She sends them in first and follows behind, which never fall for that. And then she shuts the door behind them, and she's out of the room. And then we see that Emotep is there waiting for them.
Yep. And he's just there freaking them out at this point.
Yeah, and then they panic, and Anaxinamun's like, "Open the chest!" And the guy's like, "Well, right, yeah, that's the thing to do."
Yeah, the not so bright one.
Yeah,
I like this though, because they get into the train car, and Moon shuts the door, and there's the mummy noise. You hear the swish. And the one guy's like, "This place is cursed." And they're like, "What's up with you and curses? You're always saying things are cursed. This is cursed. That's cursed." I mean, he's not wrong, but
true, but yeah.
yeah,
And anyway,
the not so bright one is confused and convinced to open the chest.
yeah, and so he opens the chest. We see the dust fly out,
Yep.
which represents the curse. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
it reactive. I don't know if it
reactivates the curse.
reactivates the curse or because if you put everything back, does it reset? I mean, it clearly reset.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, they opened it. The fog comes, and Imhotep's like, "Perfect. Now I can absorb you guys and be normal again."
Which he does.
Yeah, promptly.
Yeah, he doesn't waste any time. But earlier, Rick had mentioned that he needs a magic carpet
Yes.
to get to Egypt. And so they show up now at Magic Carpet Airlines because they killed his pilot friend in the first movie,
Winston.
Winston. Now we meet Izzy. Izzy does not like Rick.
Nope. Izzy remembers Rick.
Yeah,
Izzy sees Rick is like, "Nope, I'm out."
Yep. Last time they did business, Izzy got shot in the tuchus.
He did. He took a bullet
And
for Rick.
and he does not want to get shot again. Because
That's fair.
apparently every time he does business with Rick, he gets shot in some capacity. And then Rick offers him the scepter of Osiris,
He does.
and Izzy accepts.
He's like, "Ooh, that's gold."
And then Ardathbase shows up and is like, "I'm going with you."
I think he followed them. I mean, he followed them. I thought he went with them. I'm coming too.
Magi shows up.
I mean, he was with them in London.
Yeah. Anyway, it's revealed that they're gonna fly in a balloon.
Yeah.
It looks like a pirate ship with a balloon mast.
Yes, it's a much better balloon than the one from Waterworld.
Yes, it is. And they take off. And we just kind of have a filler scene of conversations at night on the balloon.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
They
It doesn't really advance the plot any.
no, it doesn't. They're just
You get Jonathan and Izzy kind of arguing about the scepter of Osiris.
yeah.
You get
Jonathan
Rick
senses his.
yeah, and then you get Rick and Evie lamenting about their kid getting kidnapped.
Artist Base just happy to be there.
Pretty much, yeah. So I get to feel useful again. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't really advance the plot any, but it does kind of
Convey passage of
deepen the
time.
it, yeah, and deepens the characters.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, 2 hour movie, they didn't need it. But
Yeah.
we cut to the train, and it's the sun's getting ready to come up, and the scenes between this kid and Lochna,
Yeah. They're
it Lochna plays it so well. I mean, the actor, of course,
yeah.
not he's. I mean, they're sitting there. It's morning, and you hear. I mean, we haven't even seen them yet. And, are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Are you there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Like classic kid being annoying.
Yeah.
And then Lochna snaps, grabs his knife out, and stabs it directly in between Alex's fingers. And Alex is like, "Oh, that was cool. You have incredible aim." And Lochna's like, "What are you talking about? I missed." And then that kind of settles down, and Lochna like taps his fingers, and Alex mimics him. And then just as Lochna snaps and is like, "Forget it. I'm killing the kid. Cut off his arm and use it."
yeah.
Alex goes, "I have to go to the bathroom," which
Which
probably saved his life.
yeah. Or at least his hand.
Yeah. But then we cut to Moon, and she goes and visits Emotep, and we see Emotep's all revived and whole.
Yep. Yep. He finished he
Eating
finished juice. I was gonna say juice and the other guys.
spider style.
Yeah.
Then we cut to the kid in the bathroom.
yeah. Emotep's whole and the kids in the bathroom.
And Lochna's like, "All right, kid, there you go." And the kid's like, "I can't go with someone watching." And so Lochna turns around and he's like, "No, I don't trust you. You'll look." And Lochna looks extremely offended at the accusation.
He's like, what? you look. Lochna steps out.
Yeah. And apparently it's a gross toilet. No one ever flushes it. So Alex flushes it and then sees daylight from underneath and is like, "Oh, let me pull the toilet out of the way and climb down the hole and escape."
Yeah.
So he pulls the handbrake, jumps down the hole of the toilet, and makes a break for it.
Yeah. Toilet wasn't super
And
secure either. It kind of just wiggles out of
no,
the way.
pretty much. So then the red coat starts shooting at the kid.
the kid got loose. Shoot him. like, we need him.
They're shooting. Lochna's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pay for this," and Emotep's like just kind of silently watching, and then he kills the red cloaks that are shooting at the kid because they need the kid alive apparently.
Right. They just
And
he lifts
and
him up
the
in the
red
air, tosses him, and
apparently the red cloaks didn't get the memo that the kid's got to be alive.
yeah,
And then yeah, the kid makes it pretty far,
he does.
and then Emotep's like right in front of him,
He moves
and,
quick.
and that's a bummer for
He's
the
got
kid.
magic.
Yeah. But then we cut to the balloon, and Ardith Bay and Rick are talking about Rick's destiny.
Yes, because Ardith Bay saw the tattoo. Thinks
Another
he's a
scene that really
Magi.
doesn't do anything for the movie.
He just tells him that he's a marked man as a warrior for God. That there's a destiny about him, and Rick's like, yeah, I don't believe that.
Like I said, just kind of another filler scene.
Yeah. It just gives us more information about what's going on with
Set us
Rick.
up for the third one.
Yeah. No. Have you seen the third one?
No. Have you?
no.
No. There's a reason I didn't know there was a third one until we decided to do these 2 movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut back to Emotep and Anaxuna Moon. Anaxuna Moon.
Anaxinamun? Anaxunamun.
Right. And they're talking about their love.
And how's
then,
the loveliest love they ever loved?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all very rom-com. But then we cut to a vision of 2 masked ladies fighting.
Yes.
And Emotep is watching, and the Pharaoh is watching. And they all seem very happy.
Uh-huh.
And
we are
then
getting more exposition.
Yes, we are getting more history of these people, these characters.
Which they're doing a good job of showing and not just telling us.
I do appreciate that. Yes. And then the masks come off, and it's Anaxuna Moon and Evelyn.
Evie. Yes.
However, we learned that she is not Evie in this little vision story. She is
The Pharaoh's
Nef-
daughter.
the Pharaoh's daughter, Nefertari.
Yes. Oh, you wanted the name.
I was trying to read my writing.
Yes, Nefertari, the Pharaoh's daughter.
Yes. And then we get I like how they expand upon the story from the first movie. They don't like try to create something new.
I do like that too. It was a continuation. It's got some of the same players. The Pharaohs. I mean, you're looking at it like, oh, the Pharaoh's the same. The Pharaoh did have a daughter, and now the Pharaoh's daughter and the Pharaoh's mistress are fighting
Yeah.
in combat.
But you see that the whole story from the first movie is still used. There's just a different perspective, and now we get to see Nefertari witness the killing of the pharaoh, and she's the one that sends the guards in.
Right. Yeah, she sees her father getting killed, which is why
And
the
which
guards showed up so quickly.
right. So it explains it all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't contradict anything from the first movie, which is great.
No, they did a really good job of it. I don't know how much was pre-planned, like, well, this would happen and this would happen, or if it was just all after the fact. But they they connected it well, and it really worked.
Yep. But this we also it's cutting back and forth. So you see um a Noxinamoon having the vision. You see Evie having the vision. It's doing a cut back and forth. And then at like the climax of the whole vision, you see Evie jump off of the balloon or just step forward and fall off. And Rick grab her, and then you see a Noxinamoon's soul return to her body.
Yeah, so we skipped over this where Alex ended up stopping is where they were supposed to they were where they were supposed to go.
Yeah,
And Emotep is doing the ritual to put Anaxamoon's soul back into this reincarnated body.
right. So it's all working out very well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean if with Evie being reincarnated, Pharaoh's daughter, that would explain too why Emotep was like, you're very familiar.
That's right, because she was familiar in the first movie too.
Yeah. Yeah. He called her Nox to the moon, but I mean, he's a mummy dead for thousands of years, probably a little confused, but he's like, I know that face.
Right,
I don't know why I know it, but yeah, at the end of the vision, Anoxinamu's soul is back in her body.
right. And then we're back on the balloon, and Art of the Bay is telling the whole story
Yep.
of Rick's fate. And then we cut to the kid and his friend. Nope, they're not friends. But I wrote it down
Yep.
that way. And the kid wants water. The kid's thirsty.
Yep.
The, Loch Na is like ready to kill this kid. He's like so excited to be able to kill this kid. He even tells the kid how excited he is to eventually kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as we get the chance, I'm killing you.
It very very much it reminds me of the bad guy in Cloak and Dagger.
It's like, I don't like you. I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be great. And the kid's like unfazed, like, how about water now? And so Lochna throws him his water, and we see him building something in the sand.
Yep. He pours on the sand and starts building something.
And then we get our heroes find the train. Evie finds the kid's message, so they know where they're heading next.
Yeah. I
And
think
then
he's got his coat over it,
his tie.
his tie. It's
He
pointing.
hangs his tie.
Yep. Yep.
And the tie is pointing straight down at the thing, the sandcastle he made. But this leads us into a travel montage.
Yes. A travel montage with time passage.
With time passage, and we get to see all the sand sculptures that this kid apparently has time to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're stopping at each one, looking around, getting the information, and then moving on. But yeah, they're going on the Scorpion King revenge tour at this point.
Yep, yep. And then our montage, yeah, we also see that Ardith Bay has a falcon.
Yeah, and Ardith Bay has a falcon. He's kind of trying to keep an eye out for things.
Yep.
But so
Yeah.
every time they get to a new location, the bracelet kicks on. Alex sees something. He tells them where they're going next, and then he leaves a little
Breadcrumb.
little sand sculpture breadcrumb of what the next
Location is going to be.
location's gonna be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But as our montage ends, we see that Lochna notices the falcon,
Yeah.
and then the boy gets caught making sandcastles. And
Yes. And they get called breadcrumbs.
they get called breadcrumbs. Yes. And Lochna is getting ready to kill the kid, and Imhotep stops him,
Yep.
and because he decides he's going to send a tsunami at them, essentially.
Yes. Yes. He does his way. He does a sand wall trick, but this time with water.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was.
And we see that the balloon gets away almost. And it's got it's got rockets on it.
It
And it
does.
looks like it's gonna get away.
It's got thrusters. We've got technology that's a little bit advanced, but yeah, it works.
Good enough. But yeah, they don't quite get away.
They do not. The
And
rockets
then
kind of peter out at the. So they're going through this canyon, so they
right.
can't just go off to the
Right.
side. They're up as high as they can get, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And they're basically racing the water to the end of this canyon. And they get just out of it, but not quite far enough, because then Emotep comes crashing down on them.
Yep.
And then we cut back to actual Emotep, who comes out of his little trance thing, smiles, walks out of the now creek-sized
Yeah, and
river.
it's a great shot because he walks into this river. He's like up to his waist in it, and then when he leaves, it's just a little creek going, this little trickle going down the center.
Yeah, and then he
And
walks by, pats the kid on the head, and keeps going.
yeah, because
And
like my
folks are dead,
parents.
and yep. Yeah, that was funny. And then we're at the crash site, and Ardith Bay, yeah, sends out the Falcon.
Yes, he
Which,
does.
what is he sending the Falcon out for? He's got a note on it.
Reconnaissance.
Is that for the rest of his people?
I think so.
Okay,
He's sending updates as to where he's at. Like, hey, we're headed to here. We're headed to there.
okay. Well, Loch Ness shoots the Falcon,
Yep.
and Ardith Bay is like, I must go. And Rick's like, you gotta help me find my kid first. And Ardith Bay is like, oh, then I will stay.
He's like, come on, please, I need you. Like the Magi won't know where to come and find us.
Yeah.
It's like, I need you to help me get my kid. He's like, okay, I respect you. Your wife and I are friends. We'll do
Yeah.
it.
But they're all walking through the jungle now, and the bad guys arrive at the pyramid, but they can't kill the kid yet.
No. And
And then
Izzy
we
says
see,
he's gonna work on the balloon.
yeah, and then we see we got a storm a coming. And then I like it. It's a tense scene. You don't really know what's going on, and then you see red cloaks starting to drop.
Yeah.
And well, I don't really know what these things are. We thought they were like zombie spider monkeys.
Little yeah, I don't know. Pygmy mummy spider monkey things. I don't know.
They were adorable though,
Yes.
in a scary kind of way.
And they acted like raptors in long grass.
They did. It was great. But then we get the good guys walk up on the bad guys. Jonathan and Evie stay up on the hill to be snipers apparently, and Rick and Ardith Bay go down to ambush the bad guys and get the kid.
Yeah, they set up a great little ambush.
Yeah, and then we get a big old battle.
Yeah, Jonathan and Evie like, yeah, we're not gonna miss.
Yeah, and so yeah, we get a long fight scene here.
Yeah,
You get
it's
you get
like
the zombie spider monkey pygmy thingies killing a bunch of people. Ardith Bay ends up killing Lochna.
yep. One of my favorite bits is Mr. Hafez and two of the red cloaks are kind of trying to make their escape, and they see a bunch of bushes coming towards them, rustling, and he's like, "You two must sacrifice yourselves for me."
And then runs, and the two guys stay there.
Yeah,
And then like,
as he runs, he's
"Wait a
like, "You'll
minute."
be rewarded in heaven."
Yep. And then they're like, "Wait a minute, I don't want to do this." Yeah, that was great. But their ambush is successful.
Yes.
All of our heroes regroup, and they're like, "All right, we can go." And Alex is like, "Well, hang on. We need to get to the temple in like 5 minutes, or I die."
Like, I gotta get there before the sun comes up. He's like, why is there always
And
a time limit on these things?
yeah, I do like the kind of meta jokes.
Yeah,
Is that considered a meta joke?
I would say so.
Okay.
But O'Connell but Rick grabs Alex and just starts running.
Yeah, because suddenly the kid's all weakened and can't do anything for himself.
Oh, no, Rick just thinks he can run faster than the kid.
Probably true. So yeah, they start running, and then they're being chased by the pygmy monkey thingies
Yeah, and the sunlight.
and the sunlight. Yeah, so I mean, it's a very tense and dramatic scene. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, they dive into the temple and they make it, and the bracelet pops off.
yeah, and he kicks it. She's like, I'm glad to have that off me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a good dad. He's like, thanks.
Yeah. And then Moon shows up and stabs Evie in the gut.
Yeah.
The scene changes real quick.
Yeah.
And then
They're
Evie,
all they're all standing there resting and kind of happy. He's like, oh, they made it in the temple. Guard is all dropped, and Inoxamun just walks out from behind a pillar and stabs her.
and
Very
then yeah, and then you get a very sad scene
yeah.
where she dies. They kill her.
Yeah.
They kill her dead,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and she
I
dies.
remember seeing that the first time. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah. And then so we cut to Emotep and Moon in the temple, and they're walking in, and Anubis takes Emotep's power, and apparently Emotep's like, oh, I guess he wants to fight me as a mortal, and it's like, no kidding.
Yeah.
The guy wants a fair fight. Oh, yeah, sure.
A fair fight.
Okay, he
Where
doesn't want a fair fight. Okay, apparently the Scorpion King wants the fight to be in his favor.
yes. If it was fair, he would have kept his powers.
Yeah, and then the Mr. Mustache guy, Fezzik,
Mr. Hafez.
Mr. Hafez. I knew there was a Fez in there somewhere. He puts on the bracer of Anubis, yeah,
Yes, he does.
and then sticks that bracer and arm in a hole in the wall.
Well, that's the bracer hole.
Yeah, I don't think I would have volunteered for that.
I don't think he knew it was going to rip the flesh off his hand.
There's nothing that comes without consequence.
No.
If I know
No.
it as a as a watcher, and the brief vision I get into this, them as being lifetime historians on it should know.
I mean, I guess there, like Evie said early on, there's not a lot of there was nothing
On the Scorpion King.
on the Scorpion King as far as artifacts or anything found. It was all just hearsay and myth, and
Sure.
so to know anything about the pyramid in the middle of the oasis that no one can find would be a little bit of a stretch.
Okay, that's fair. anyway, so he activates the Scorpion King.
Yes. Yes, he I mean, that's the best way to say it. Yeah, the bracelet is accepted, and the Scorpion King is active.
Yes, and then Ardith Bay shows up.
Yeah, Rick has gone at this point. Rick is sad and has gone into the pyramid to
Kill.
settle things.
Kill.
Yeah, he's done. He's gonna end this because he's sad Evie's dead.
So Rachel, my wife,
Yes,
at the part where Evie dies,
yes.
not sentimental at all. Very much serves you guys right. You guys are terrible parents for bringing your kid along to the first excavation.
Okay.
Zero sympathy for Evie or Rick at this point.
Okay.
Surprisingly little. My wife is very loving and sympathetic in movies. Not a trace of it during Evie getting stabbed. It's like, okay.
Well,
But then we cut to Jonathan and Alex sitting next to Evie's body. And Jonathan mentions that she's in a better place, like the good book says. And Alex is like, oh, that's right. I can go get the Book of the Dead and resurrect my mother.
yeah. And John's like, wait, what?
Not the good book he was referring to.
Nope.
But yeah, so then Mr. Fezzik,
Hafez.
Hafez, I don't know, but now Fezzik stuck in my head. Gets degloved.
Degloved.
That's what they call it when you get all the skin ripped off of your bones.
Is it?
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate?
Pretty accurate, yeah.
Okay.
And then we cut to Emotep running to face the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
And we are pretty much at the climax of the movie plot. Because we get the kid going to get the book, and then Jonathan voluntarily gets beat up by Moon so that the kid can grab the book and start reading.
Yep.
We get Rick shows up to challenge Emotep.
And Rick doesn't know that the Scorpion King has been activated.
No, he does not. Which it also makes sense that Anok stabbed the lady. No, it doesn't.
Evie.
Evie. Because in the first movie, they sent. Actually, it was Jonathan that
Yeah.
sent the army to kill Anok.
Yeah, this
Forget.
is this is just an Oxygen Moon remembering the past. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's you. Stab.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. So we get Ardith Bay and his army, which is massive now, facing off against the army of Anubis.
Yeah, because as soon as they saved Alex, Ardith Bay's like, I gotta go tell where people where to go.
Right. So he takes off, and maybe that's what the bracer of Anubis did, was resurrect the army instead of the Scorpion King.
Yes, I would say that's more accurate.
Yeah. And then we get Jonathan. It's so funny when Jonathan actually lands a punch on Moon,
Yeah,
and she's like surprised by it.
yeah. He's like, I did it.
Yeah, he's like, "Yay, I hit her," and she's like, I think she's more confused that he actually landed a punch, not that the punch did any damage to her.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It was funny. And then, so the kid's reading out of the Book of the Dead. He's like, I don't know what this last
symbol is.
symbol is, and it's the symbol that Jonathan didn't know from the first movie. So he explains it, and he goes, "I know that one," which
It's
I
a
actually,
benefice.
and he's like, "Oh, right, of course it is."
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, like Jonathan did in the first movie. Oh, it's fun. It's a great callback.
It was a good callback there.
And so yeah, he finishes the ritual, the spell or whatever,
Yeah.
and then Mom shows up, and she and Moon face off.
Yep. We have a revival or a rematch, so to speak.
Yeah. So he resurrects Mom.
Yes.
Is Mom or is Mom Nefertari?
Mom is mom.
Okay. Are we sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So Jonathan and the kid take off.
Yeah. So like, our work's done. Bye.
Yep. And then we cut to Emotep and Rick kind of fighting, and the Scorpion King shows up, and Emotep's like, "I'm your servant. He was sent here to kill you, though." And Rick's like, "I have no idea what you're saying."
Yeah.
And the
Yeah. And we
Scorpion
get
King's like, "I'll take it. I'm gonna kill this guy first, then."
yeah. Yeah. And we get the CGI Scorpion King, not the Rock showing up.
No, we get a CGI of the Rock with a scorpion body,
Yes. Like a scorpion
and
centaur.
it does not look as good as I remembered it looking.
You remembered it looking good. That's awesome.
I did. Did you not remember it looking good?
No, I always remembered it as being off.
No, it is a little off, but like I remember for the time it being pretty good.
Eh,
I'm just
I know.
wrong.
If you remember it, that's great. But we were in an age of starting to get some full CGI characters, some really well done, like Jar Jar Binks. Since this is 2001, Lord of the Rings was just on the ground the corner. So the next year we were going to get Gollum, and Dobby. So this is just
No,
one of the.
why you got to ruin it?
So yeah, I don't know if it would have been better to just have the Rock there.
So Mom and Moon are fighting now. Pretty good fight. We cut to Rick and Emotep, I guess. Well, I guess it's just Rick running away from the Scorpion King, and Emotep's kind of pursuing.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm here to help.
And
Until
then we
I'm
run,
not.
and then we run into Fezzik,
Mr. Hafez.
Mr. Hafez. I don't know why I can't remember Hafez.
That's okay.
And Scorpion guy sees him and is like, "Well, let me start by killing this guy." And so
Yeah, yeah. Hafez is been stumbling around because his hand is bone now. He's just holding it clutched to his body, and he wanders into this Scorpion King death chamber.
and gets himself all dead.
Yeah, the Scorpion King grabs him with his little claws and rips him to pieces.
Yep. And then we cut to Ardith Bay and his army destroying and being victorious over Anubis' army until they crest a hill and see that there's like a million more Anubis armies coming.
Yeah, yeah. They took out this little warband. It looks like 'cause
Yeah.
there was a lot of them, but they did it. They're excited every time they every time they killed one of these things, they exploded into sand, which was a cool effect.
Yeah,
Um,
it was. They did that pretty well. Maybe if their budget was 110 million, we would have gotten a better rock.
I was gonna say they used all their CG budget on these Anubis guys because they looked really cool, and the
Yeah.
little mummies, the little pygmy mummies.
But yeah, so that army is looking pretty defeated.
Yeah, they they like
They're not.
we did it. It's like, oh, we did not. That's a lot more.
That's a oh boy. And then we see Rick sees hieroglyphs on how to kill the Scorpion King,
Yeah, yeah.
and he sees that the scepter turns into a spear, and you stab him with the spear, and
Yeah,
huzzah!
and on the wall mural, it's the guy has the same tattoo in the same spot on his arm. He looks down. He's got the spear. He's like, well, all right, I guess I believe.
Yep. Then we cut back to Ardath Bey really quick, and his whole army is like till death. And they're like, huzzah!
It's like,
And
I
they brace,
guess.
and they brace for impact.
Yep.
And now we're at that point where everything is about to come to a head.
Yes.
There's all kinds of suspense. First, what is it? Jonathan throws the spear. First, they can't figure out how to turn the scepter into a spear.
Right.
Then then Alex figures it out because Alex is smarter than Jonathan.
Yeah. He's like, no,
So
no, do this.
then Jonathan hucks the spear.
Yes.
Is it Jonathan that hucks the spear? Yeah. And Emotep grabs it out of the air, and then he hucks the spear. Rick grabs it out of the air,
Yeah. He
and
he just jumps and
yeah, and gets it. And then the Scorpion King and him are actually wrestling, and he's about to fall into the pit of unclaimed souls. It looks like. Is that what you'd call
yeah,
it?
it's disturbing.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like a torture area.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people along this wall all the way down.
Yeah, and whoever kills the Scorpion King controls Anubis's army.
Yes.
And so yes, Rick stabs the Scorpion King. Scorpion King dies. Rick, as he's stabbing him, says, "You go to heck and
And
take
take
your
your
army
friend.
with you.
Yeah, take all your friends with you.
And take your friends with you," and stabs him. Scorpion King dies just in the nick of time. We get the army of Anubis turning into sand right before collision with Ardath Bey's army. Which,
Yep.
what a relief!
Yeah, because looking at it, it's like those guys, they weren't ready for a fight. They were,
They just finished a fight.
yeah, they looked in bad shape. A lot of them were
Yeah,
just kind of just had their heads down and eyes closed.
just waiting for it.
Yep.
And now the pyramid's starting to collapse because of course it is.
Yeah, and you don't see Imhotep or Rick at all.
Right. And they have fallen into the pit.
Yes.
And they're both clinging on, and Rick's like, "Leave. Just leave me here. Go. Save yourself. Get the kid and everyone out of there."
Yeah, he's like, fly, you fools.
Nice reference, I guess.
Uh,
But yeah, so Evie ain't having any of it. She runs and dodges and bobs and weaves, gets to Rick, pulls him up,
yep.
saves him out of there. Emotep is watching, and he looks at Moon and is like, yells to her to help him.
It's like, help me, I'm dying.
Yeah, help get me out of here. And she turns and runs
Yep. She
and
leaves him.
leaves him. And the weird, sad scene, right?
Yeah. You see the
It's
defeat and heartbreak in his eyes, in his face.
just a devastation in him. And as she runs away, and he's watching her leave him, and then he looks over at Rick and Evie and like kind of smiles at him,
It's like, you made it work.
of like just acknowledging their love.
Yeah.
And then he lets himself go.
Yep. He gives up the fight and just kind of lets the pit take him.
Yep. And then we cut to Moon, and she is running, and she falls into beetles.
Yep. She falls into a beetle pit. She
And then
gets
we
her
cut
comeuppance.
pretty quickly too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that whole scene with Emotep, that's what made me really look at it and be like, was this guy ever really a bad guy?
You can make an argument for it, but like I said, there's another movie where he's the hero trying to.
Is there actually a movie, or are you saying that they could redo the movie with him being the
No, no,
hero?
I'm actually saying that you could make a movie with Imhotep as the lead in the hero of the movie.
Yeah. And Rick's the bad guy.
Yeah, I suppose you'd call him a bad guy, but
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not really a black and white kind of villain and hero.
No, no, it's not.
type of story. Anyway, we're at our heroes are climbing the pyramid as it's sinking, trying to everything's getting sucked into like this hole of Anubis. I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah, everything's being sucked into the Anubis hole.
Well, because Anubis created the oasis in the pyramid when he made the
Yes,
deal with the Scorpion King, so that's his whole. It's all
yeah, it's all. Yeah, we've got Jonathan, we've got Alex, we've got Rick and Evie all climbing the pyramid because up is the way to go. You can't get out anymore. It's all imploding in on itself.
right, and they have nowhere to go. They're stuck. But guess what? Izzy gets the balloon fixed and flies in and saves the day. We almost lose
Yes.
Jonathan. He's dangling, and he's like, "Pull me up." Oh, wait a minute! And he grabs the treasure
He's like,
diamond
"Put me
off the
back
top
down,
of the,
put me back down." He
and
grabs the diamond. He's so excited.
he gets it, and they pull him up. Ardith Bay waves goodbye to Rick. Rick waves goodbye to Ardith Bay. I think they have a mutual respect for each other at this point.
Yep. Izzy says half that diamond's his.
Yep. Jonathan and Izzy are arguing about treasure as they float off into the sunset, and then we roll credits.
Yes.
Do you want to give your final thoughts first?
Yeah, yeah. I'll get my final thoughts first.
Oh, actually, yeah. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, technically this is my go, but I had a lot of fun with this movie. I like this one. It's a good follow up, a good sequel. I think it works well with the other one as
Hmm.
like a tandem movie, first and second. This is a it's a complete story there. The first one stands on its own. This one adds to it, and you can look at them both together as one bigger story of Imhotep and the O'Connells and the whole thing. So I think it holds up. It's just as I don't know if it's as good as the first one, but it's right there. I mean, we're splitting hairs. I'm like, which one's better? Like, I would say the first one's better. It's more concise. It's a little darker. It's not as goofy in spots. I mean, it's got its moments, but overall, it's more. The first one was a better movie, but this one's still fun. It adds to it. The kid's annoying, but not in a bad way.
The kid's a kid.
Yeah, he's a kid. Sometimes you get kids in movies. They're like, man, this kid's annoying. I just don't want him here anymore. This one's like, yeah, he's a kid. He's being a kid, and you get it. But he's not the worst kid in a movie.
No,
And you enjoy him sometimes too. So I think it works. What about you?
I agree with you,
Yeah.
except for the fact I think this is one of those rare instances where the sequel is better than the first.
Okay.
I like this movie better than The Mummy. But to that point, just because I like it better doesn't make it a better movie.
Okay. I get that.
But as you said, we are splitting hairs because they are both just incredible, great movies.
Yeah.
So to say the sequel is better than I mean, it's one of those, you have this one, you have the first one and this one, and you could say, like, you said the first one's better. I said I like the second one better. I could openly say that I like the sequel better, and you're not going to bat an eye or be like, no way. They're
Yeah.
both so good that to one like one better than the other is not a big deal.
And they're both different styles of movie too.
Hmm.
I mean, they're both adventure movies, but the
Yes.
first one's more adventure. I would say thriller horror because it focused more on the jump scares, the mummy bit of it that's darker. Where this one is more of an action adventure. I mean, the other one had action too, so it's splitting hairs, but it's that fine line of this one's the second one's definitely more action, and the other one's more like you got it's darker. It's going into the original mummy themes of being a horror movie.
Right. And I think I just like comedies better.
That's
So the
fair.
second one played more to my specific style of movie.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
like I said, it's solid. The continuity from movie to movie is on point. It it feels like to me it almost feels like Back to the Future,
Okay.
where Back to the Future was they had all three movies when the first one came out, and they just did all three together.
They didn't the so Back to the Future 1 was done by itself, and then they wrote 2 and 3 together and filmed them back to back.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know what you mean. It's
It
like I
felt
said,
like it was
I don't know if he had the ideas for a sequel in mind after when they were writing the first one, if there was if there was plot points that ended up in the second one that were gonna be in the first one that just kind of got left out due to um, time and budget and things like that. Like, I know this would be overstuffing the movie if we added these 6 things into here. Let's pull them out
Right.
and focus just on this main story.
Yeah, and I wonder if they wrote the movie with the hope of a sequel,
Yeah,
so they had left things open to where the first movie could wrap up, and it could also be a sequel, or it could have a sequel.
yeah.
It definitely felt that way with how well everything came together. But yeah, but to the point, it really feels like I haven't seen the third movie. I don't really care to see the third movie.
So the third movie, Rachel Weisz isn't in it. She didn't come
Okay,
back for it as Evie. They cast somebody else. I haven't seen it either. I've just this is just from looking into it and the trailer and everything. Alex is it's 10 years later, so Alex is like 20 at this point
okay.
in it. It takes place in China,
Oh yeah, I've seen parts of this one.
not
That's right.
Egypt, and I think there's a scene with a bunch of Yetis in it in the movie. But it's not something. It seemed too different from what we were getting into before. That I never got around to seeing it.
Yeah, it seemed like with these two movies that wrapped up the Mummy storyline, it and we didn't need a third one.
Yeah, yeah. I believe there was an animated series.
Fun.
Yeah. Let me find that really quick. Yeah. There was a Mummy animated series, two seasons. Looks like Alex was a little bit older in the series and focused on him as the main character with the others um, as backups.
Okay. Yeah, they tried to franchise it. It didn't really work.
With Imhotep and Anox to the Moon coming back as the main villains of the show.
But yeah, I mean, I know we touched on it before. Is Emotep even really a villain?
I mean, to an extent, he keeps wanting to take over the world.
If you take that aspect of it away, he's just a guy who wants to marry a girl.
Right. I mean, the first one's like, what was his plan? He's like, okay, I'm back. I'm at full power. I'm gonna bring my lady back, and then we're gonna rule the world together. He just didn't want to
Yeah,
do it without her.
right.
So, still not a great guy, but all for love, right?
Right. I mean you can argue like, you tone down, "Oh, I want to rule Egypt
Yeah,
as pharaoh. I want to be pharaoh with my lady by my side.
right.
And then it stops being then you have a plot for him as a good guy.
Exactly. At the
Throw a
moment,
tyran
oh,
As I say, throw a tyrannical government in place in Egypt, and he's resurrected on accident by Rick. And the whole plot of the movie is him finding the Book of the Dead before Rick to resurrect his Moon, and then they can overthrow the tyrannical government and save Egypt.
yeah,
Done. There you go. Now he's a good guy.
yeah,
And then you can have the Rick story arc be the catalyst to help help complete the plot where first they're against each other, and then Rick and Evie figure out what the story of Emotep and Moon, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna help you.
yeah. That's another way to go. But uh,
Yeah, there's all kinds of things, but
there's
yeah.
current rumors that they're working on a fourth movie with Brendan
Brent,
Fraser and Rachel Weisz coming back.
oh good, and we can just forget the third one ever happened,
I think that's kind of the plan.
kind of like they did with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
Of course, I heard the fifth one was even worse.
I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. But
Yeah, I don't have anything more.
yeah, I mean, unless you're gonna tell us we're watching the Mummy 3 next, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, I think I'm ready to go.
We're not watching The Mummy 3 next.
Yay!
So, whatever movie I pick right now, I've done the math, is going to air or drop on mine and Rachel's wedding anniversary.
Okay.
So I figured I would go in a direction to appeal to my lovely wife.
All right.
And so my wife, her greatest passion, I think, in this world is music.
Okay.
And she also absolutely adores Jack Black.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to school, and we're gonna go to the School of Rock.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever talked about that movie.
No, no, I wanted to take it back. Also wanted to take it back to a movie that I don't think we've ever talked about.
Yeah. Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah, yeah, it should.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about that one.
Yep, yep. All right.
Okay. School of Rock.
Yep. Well, thank you to everyone who joined us for today's episode as we wrapped up our two-part series on the Mummy. Feel free to like us, rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. That actually does help get us out there and get us more popular so we can, well, we're going to keep doing this anyway, but it's always nice when new people listen to us. If you'd like to reach out to us, you could do so. watchitbropodcast@gmail.com. Speaking of, we actually got our first fan letter from someone
Woo.
not already associated with us.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
Marshall owes a shout out to Scott in Iowa.
Hey, Scott in Iowa. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, thank you very much, Scott in Iowa. It was really nice to have you reach out to us and compliment our show. Uh, Also, thank you for being on Team McHale's Navy over down Periscope. Take that, Marshall. And we are also on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at WatchItBroPod, Instagram and Facebook under that same handle. Our intro and outro music is now and always, well, no. Our intro and outro music is now provided by my lovely wife. That intro being Blue, that outro being Orlando. And as always, thank you for watching.